Where's the video of the Chinese brands exposing the watch industry? Where is that? I've seen movies.
Got you right here. This is a CF Rolex I got from Shenzhen for only 120 USD, and it still ticks. Everything is perfect.
Watches come in different sizes. A small dial makes you always slimmer, while a large one makes you a stronger area. First of all, you need to determine your budget range. The Rolex data dress is the best choice for cost-effective.
做成了基本程序。你这是哪个程序？车床上哪个程序要标的？哦，表壳。直接从你这个程序弄。
Swiss watches really made in China? I went to Shenzhen to find out. It's the epicenter of Chinese watch manufacturing, and according to this one expert,
Tissot make about 4 million watches a year, 300 watchmakers in Switzerland. Do the math.
there's compelling evidence that Swiss made on the dial doesn't mean the watch was made or constructed in Switzerland. When I did find the higher quality knockoffs, they all pointed me in the direction of one particular factory. Unfortunately, they wouldn't let me film inside, but I can tell you the quality was very high. Certainly, lots of micro brands manufacture in Shenzhen, as well as lots of big brands.
There are now serious claims surfacing that Rolex, the iconic luxury Swiss watchmaker, has been quietly producing parts and in some cases full watches in China. That's right. The same Rolex people drop $10,000, $20,000 or more on. In this video, I'm breaking down the real footage. Inside factories you weren't supposed to see, whistleblowers from within the industry, a former watch expert who says he was fired for speaking out, and a veteran dealer who flat out says you can buy a Rolex clone because it's virtually the same product. I'm laying it all out. Let's dive in. For decades, Rolex has been seen as more than just a watch. It's been a symbol of elite craftsmanship, Swiss tradition, and luxury status. They've sold millions worldwide, building an untouchable image. But now, that polished reputation is cracking. Leaked video from Chinese production plants show what appears to be Rolex manufacturing happening nowhere near Switzerland. You can see workers capturing footage of rows of watch parts, entire lines of assembly happening at scale. It's a visual gut punch to the handmade in Switzerland narrative. The world thinks Swiss-made means every single part is born and built in Switzerland. But that's just not reality. Shenzhen, yes, the same city known for replicas, is mass-producing key components. Cases, dials, movements. Those pieces are then sent to Switzerland, assembled, given a Swiss-made stamp, and sold for luxury prices. That $20,000 Rolex you flex might have been built right next to a $200 replica. The only real difference? Branding. It's believed over 90% of all watch components globally, luxury or not, pass through Shenzhen's supply chain at some point. The industry knows this. They've quietly depended on it for years. But no one was supposed to see behind the curtain. That is, until now. Workers have started leaking factory footage, exposing facilities that have long supplied parts to some of the world's biggest luxury brands. And this isn't blurry footage. In these clips, you can clearly see high-end watch designs being put together in bulk. Some of the videos even show workers speaking casually about shipping out thousands of pieces every week, many of which go through white label channels, private deals, or straight to approved brand facilities overseas. In some cases, brands fly Swiss inspectors to China just to sign off on final batches. That way, the final stamp still traces back to Switzerland. But it's becoming impossible to deny what's really going on. It's not just anonymous leaks anymore. Now, respected insiders are talking. One of the biggest bombshells came from a former Swiss watchmaker, now known online as the Watch Regulator. He worked for the Swatch Group, the parent company behind giants like Omega, Tissot, Breguet, and Blancpain. He confirmed what many feared. Core parts of high-end watches, from bezels to diamond settings, are often sourced directly from Asia. In one case, he was replacing components in a luxury gold watch and realized almost everything inside, except maybe a cheap $5 quartz movement, had Asian origins. He even broke down what Swiss-made really means. Under Swiss law, a watch only has to have 60% of its cost, not materials, occur in Switzerland. That includes marketing, rent, payroll, even shipping, not actual craftsmanship. So, a watch can be mostly made in China, flown to Switzerland for final assembly, have a few screws tightened, and boom, it qualifies as Swiss-made. He's not guessing. He's got the receipts, and he says this practice has quietly existed since at least the 1970s. And just when it seems like the truth couldn't get more blatant, a veteran watch dealer with 15+ years in the game comes in and says it plainly. Some of these high-end counterfeit Rolexes are nearly flawless, especially popular models like the Datejust and stainless steel Daytona. The replicas have become so precise that even certified watch experts are getting fooled. From the materials used to the internal movements, and even the finishing touches, everything lines up. In one case, a fake slipped through 2 separate professional inspections. It wasn't uncovered until much later, after the watch had already changed hands. But this isn't just about a single watch anymore. These replicas come with everything you'd expect from the real deal. NFC-enabled cards, warranty booklets, Rolex-branded boxes, detailed manuals, microfiber cloths, and even internal chips that appear to sync with Rolex's website. Every aspect of the experience, down to the packaging and the presentation, is cloned to perfection. And the reason these dupes are so convincing? It's because the very same factories producing parts for legitimate Rolex watches are also churning out the counterfeits. That's right. Same machines, same workers, same exact tooling. Once the official production run is complete, the equipment doesn't stop. The next batch rolls out to the same exact specifications, minus the Rolex logo. One shipment goes off to Switzerland for final branding and sale as luxury. The other batch heads into the replica market. What you're left with is virtually the same product, only the destination and branding are different. And now, Chinese manufacturers are openly selling these watches across platforms like TikTok for a fraction of the price. So people are buying what's essentially the same watch at 1/10 the cost. That's something Rolex always said would never happen. But it did. And now it's shaking the foundation of the brand. Recently, Rolex began quietly cutting prices on several of its core models. These aren't short-term promotions or seasonal markdowns. They're permanent reductions. And for a company that's prided itself on exclusivity and price consistency, this signals something much bigger. These pricing changes come in the wake of viral videos exposing the truth. Luxury watches, including Rolex, share production routes with far more affordable alternatives. This isn't just speculation. We're talking real factory footage, insider interviews, and leaked documents. The evidence shows that the same components and assembly techniques are being used across both premium and budget models. Once consumers realized that their $15,000 watch might be built in the same facility, using the same methods and parts as a $300 one, the illusion of value began to collapse. What used to be justified by mystique and brand heritage is now being questioned. People are no longer buying just the product. They're buying the story behind it. And when that story cracks, the resale value follows. Collectors have taken notice. Many are offloading pieces before the market shifts any further. Resellers are sitting on stock that used to fly off shelves. Now it lingers. Demand for overpriced gray market watches is cooling rapidly, and prices are starting to fall. Rolex, seeing the writing on the wall, is lowering prices to get ahead of a total value collapse. It's a move to protect the brand's legacy before the secondary market destroys it for them. By cutting prices themselves, Rolex regains some control over the narrative. Because if they keep charging top-tier prices while the public views the product as mass-produced, they risk being labeled a rip-off instead of a luxury icon. That could kill long-term demand. This strategy lets them preserve some credibility. For years, luxury brands counted on the public staying in the dark. Marketing kept consumers distant from production realities. Swiss-made gave people a sense of comfort and tradition. But the internet blew that illusion wide open. Now anyone with a phone can peek inside the factories. The secrecy is gone. The exposure of shared manufacturing lines, outsourced labor, and China's deep involvement has sent shockwaves through the industry. Brands that built reputations on Swiss handcrafting and heritage are now being lumped in with mass-market production. When people see the same factories making both a $200 replica and a $20,000 luxury timepiece, using the same hands and hardware, the myth of exclusivity is shattered. Collectors are the first to react. Many are already bailing out, selling off watches before values nosedive further. Pieces once treated like investments are quickly becoming seen as financial liabilities. Resellers are watching profits vanish. Gray market listings are staying live longer. Some dealers are holding on to inventory that just a few months ago would have sold out within hours. The transformation of the luxury watch industry is moving fast, and no brand is safe. This isn't just a Rolex problem. The same massive watch production hubs in Shenzhen are supplying components, and in some cases, full timepieces, to a range of luxury watch brands that still proudly wave the Swiss flag. Companies that have long sold the image of heritage and handcraftsmanship are now going dark, postponing new releases, cutting back on promotions, and doing their best to stay quiet while the storm brews. But staying quiet isn't going to rebuild trust. The truth is already out there. Leaked video tours, supplier invoices, and whistleblowers are surfacing daily, and with every new post or insider clip, the myth of total Swiss production fades a little more. The idea that the market might somehow snap back to its old ways is wishful thinking. That chapter is closed. What we're entering now is a new age for the luxury sector, one where transparency, not tradition, might decide who survives. Appreciate you watching this. If this story opened your eyes or changed how you look at luxury, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe for more real breakdowns, and let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'm genuinely curious what you think about where this industry goes next.